Plaintiff Barbara Bailey is suing her niece and nephew, Ryan and Marcia Eggleston, for unpaid loans. Barbara says after her husband died of bladder cancer and she received a settlement from his life insurance, the defendants started asking her for money. But the Egglestons say as soon as their uncle died, the plaintiff was out at the bars drinking and dating a new guy within weeks. They claim their uncle wanted them to have some of his money.
Barbara Bailey is suing Marcia Eggleston and Ryan Eggleston for personal loans. How is it that you came to give them money?
Marcia and Ryan, my niece and nephew, we're a very close family, and but I feel like I was being taken advantage of after my husband passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My husband Glenn, he had a year-long battle with bladder cancer, so I was battling between healthcare provider and work, and but he ended up passing away in July of 2007.
I'm sorry, how old was he?
Only 45.
45?
Yes.
Wow.
And I received like the life insurance policy.
How much did you receive?
Oh, it's about $50,000.
What did you do with the money?
Oh, I paid off like mortgages. I helped my kids.
How old are your kids?
I've got a 25-year-old, almost 21, and a 19-year-old. I have 6 grandbabies.
Wow. Okay.
But I pretty much helped everybody out. I paid up all my bills.
So how is it that you're suing them?
Well, Ryan needed to buy a truck, and she wanted to catch up on some bills. So I thought, okay, I'll help him out. We set up a payment agreement of like $25. I figured $25 a week out of both their checks, which is about $100 a month each.
Yeah.
But my other daughter gave me a witness statement because she witnessed like us talking about it and
All right,
the writing of the checks.
August, shortly after my father passed away, my mother, Barbara, loaned $1,000 to my cousin, Marcia, and loaned $16 to Marcia's husband. The understanding that the amount of $2,600 would be paid back to her $50 a week. I, Olivia Bailey, witnessed the agreement, my mother signing the checks and my mother lending the checks over to Ryan and Marcia. At first, Marcia and Ryan were making regular payments of $50. Shortly after, the payments got smaller and smaller. Marcia and Ryan would give $5 here and there to my sister to give my mother, and it was like a slap in the face, not to mention my mother never received the payments. Okay, Marcia and Ryan, talk to me.
Well, we started. Sorry.
I'm sorry. It's an emotional case.
We did get money, but on the note of we go out there every weekend. They live 46 miles one way from us. Before Uncle Glenn passed away, I would sit there with them, chit chat with them. I was help take care of the property.
Do you have a lot of property, Barbara?
Yeah, it's just shy of 20 acres.
All right, go ahead.
Well, I talked to Uncle Glenn quite a bit. I mean,
he's not your uncle. He's your wife's uncle.
Yes.
But I cling to him pretty quick.
Yeah.
He's real easy to get along with. He's a real nice.
He's a real easygoing guy.
He's that kind of a man. Very loving.
Very loving. Come to you open arms. I didn't have a man figure in my life growing up like that. My dad was constantly gone, and I kind of accepted Uncle Glenn as a father figure.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really. It felt good to have somebody to actually sit there and listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, we talk a lot, and there was this one time that Aunt Barb and Marcia went into town because they live way out in, country. That he was telling me about different things that could possibly happen if he passed away, insurance policies and financial stuff about the mortgage and stuff, and to help make sure I keep coming and making sure Aunt Barb gets help around the place. And I did. We took gas money that we couldn't really afford to come. And then there was one time in the talk we were talking about, like I said, the insurance policy, he made me aware of, she'd probably get something. So I, after he passed away, we come to her and asked her, to help out, for some money to help out. And
You're asking her for money?
yeah, we asked her if she could help. And
that was after because he had told me on one of the occasion that he was starting to talk about when we had went to town, he had told me about a specific occasion when Uncle Glenn had said that he wanted to make sure that if we needed anything that we'd be able to get that.
Needed anything in terms of money?
Right.
Well, what specifically did he say, Ryan? You were the one who was there.
it's just a blur, but I mean, he was just basically telling me, you know, it would be not a problem if, you know, we needed help. And, you know, and then Aunt Barb knowing that at that time that we were a real bad situation because I wasn't working. I was only doing what I could do, odd jobs to find out to help because she's the only provider at that time.
All right, so what are you telling me? You're telling me that Marcia and your Aunt Barbara go into town, you're sitting there with your Uncle Glenn, he's dying, and he says if you need help, talk to Barbara?
In a sense, yeah.
I don't know what that means in a sense, Ryan. I'm trying to understand what you think the conversation was.
Basically, what I got from, you know, the conversation, he was telling me if we need some money, it'd be okay to ask.
Okay. All right, Barbara. So tell me what he says to you.
Oh, well, one of the things that Glenn expressed a concern to me was that I was taken care of. And so, you know, I felt, okay, I could help them out, but there would become a point that I would need it back.
What did that sentence mean? Glenn, one of the concerns that Glenn expressed to me was that I was taken care of. What does that mean?
That he was worried about me afterwards. After he passed away, he told me he thought within a year I would be filing bankruptcy because, you know, I had to do without his income, do it all on my own. And so, you know, I knew from the beginning, you know, loaning it to him was okay at that point, but I would need it back. And since then, you know, I've worked at the same place for going on 15 years now.
What do you do?
I work in the automotive industry, and I got laid off for 9 weeks. And I am to the point that I am living paycheck to paycheck, and I'm struggling. And I hadn't heard nothing from them, and I just had to do what I had to do.
Okay. Did they pay you anything at all?
Well, yeah, I've got a couple of payments, and there was one time I knocked off $50 for Ryan doing some mowing.
It wasn't that we couldn't afford it. Soon after my Uncle Glenn died, she had started changing a little. I mean, she wasn't the same person that she used to be.
How?
She was more stressed. I mean, which I can understand because her husband did just pass away. But then she started dating. I mean, she was doing a lot of drinking, going out to bars and stuff, and then she started dating really soon after. I mean, she was even talking about having her boyfriend over for Thanksgiving dinner, which, I mean, if she's going to have a new boyfriend, I mean, I applaud her for moving on with her life. But sometimes to me, it felt like it was a little too soon to be, you know, a little more respectful for my uncle.
After 25 years of marriage.
Okay. Do you believe what Ryan is saying about the conversation that he had with his Uncle Glenn when you and...
I don't know, because Glenn had told me to start worrying about number one and not everybody else. He told me not even to help our kids because he felt I was going to go down fast.
All right. So when he dies, the $50,000 that you got, did you pay off the mortgage?
No, I couldn't pay off the mortgage. I paid off the second mortgage. I paid that up to a zero balance, and then I had to start using it. And I paid off both of our credit cards and canceled those.
Okay.
Because I didn't want those.
You're really in a bad situation. So when you loaned them the money, why didn't you ask them to sign something?
Well, I did. That piece of paper got lost because when my grandbabies lived with me.
Did you sign something?
I don't remember signing something.
Did you sign something?
I remember a paper that she wrote.
We had talked about if we had talked about, you know, helping to pay some of it back here and there, you know, as we could afford it and as she needed it, but...
And then you found that you couldn't afford it. This is a lawsuit about whether or not the defendants are liable to the plaintiff for $2,600 that she loaned them after her husband dies. She says that $400 has been paid and therefore they only owe her $2,200. Now, she's given me a witness statement from her daughter that corroborates the fact that it was a loan and not a gift. The defendants, on the other hand, basically say it was a gift. And according to the defendant's statement, Ryan says, during one of these discussions, Uncle Glenn told me he wanted my wife and I to have some money if he didn't beat the cancer. When he told me this, he was very sick and he never had the opportunity to put his sentiments in writing. Now, when Uncle Glenn passed away, everything went to Aunt Barbara. We fell on hard times, and combined with my uncle's wishes, I saw this money as a gift, not a loan. You're the worst kind of relatives, okay? You feel that the money that her husband left her, you're entitled to. And if her husband, Glenn, wanted you to have some money, he would have, number one, told her and put it in a will of some sort. I don't believe a word that you're saying. As far as I'm concerned, the fact that you couldn't lie to me, because I think that it's hard for most people to lie, indicates that you did sign something that she did lose. And therefore, you are liable. It was a loan. Don't think you're getting a freebie because she got $50,000. It's none of your business. You owe her. So ordered.